Sweet, we're recording now. I'm slightly manic today. I moved the camera back to where it was. We'll see if I like it better. Yeah, we took a week off, and we're here again. Crikey is not here today, Falbin, so we wish him well. And maybe somebody will drive his character sheet. I don't know. But actually, who wants to do that, just in case? Okay, cool. All right. Shade and that's a lot of cutting between the two of you. Cool. Well, who would? Just hey. I mean, that Geigen is probably still with her. He knows exactly how much pressure it takes. Wow. Okay, well, who would like to recap for us? Por favor. Ooh, okay, cool. Hit it. Oh, hold up. Stop talking. I just realized my OBS is not recording your player audio for some reason. So it's just been me talking, but right after I said I'm in a manic mood, and then it's just me talking by myself for like 3 minutes. People are, oh my god, people are gonna think I'm legit crazy. Where is this? Okay. I do know Garfield minus Garfield. I do know Garfield minus Garfield. That is exactly what's happening. Why is this not working? I'm confused. I'm so confused. I unplugged stuff today because I was doing voice recording for my work, and I was using my microphone, and so I plugged my audio interface into my laptop. I should probably just stop recording and then figure this out and then come back. I will. The thing is, nobody is hearing you guys tell me to leave it in, so this is just me debating with myself. Oh my god. This is so unhinged. Okay, capture audio sec from a selection of executables. Discord.exe. What? Where is it? Where? I don't. One second. Okay, I am gonna pause it because I can pause it. I'll do that. Talk again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. It's not just me anymore. The voices are back. The good voices. The voice. You guys have to talk now because you're not talking.
Okay, we can be voices in your head.
Oh no! Like we were supposed to all stay silent for like another 1 minute. It would have been great.
This is not the day. This is not the day, guys. Oh crap. Okay, I hope this
Just
actually.
to put it on the record, he was not arguing with himself. We were all there.
This is true. Because I listened back to each and every one of these. This is gonna be such a weird like first 5 minutes. Oh boy. The one where the DM talks to himself for 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Well, so Megas was preparing to do the recap when we realized I might be going insane. So if you would like to go ahead.
All right. So we picked up with the pirate ships were removed from the battlefield, but replaced by a giant sea serpent that jumped onto the deck. Unfortunately, all of our melee fighters were at the complete other end of the ship, while our long-range fighters were like right up on him. and Magus realized that he couldn't participate in the fight, that he had to continue concentrating and re-upping the water spell every round to keep the pirate ships from crashing back up into the ship's hull. But we managed to get all that done, and with a very nice play from Theagenes, that basically disabled it for a round. We were able to bring it down, and it tried to jump off the ship to save itself, but Shade pursued it and said, "No, we're getting crafting materials." And
Like
killed it
any
right
good
as-
Minecrafter.
Yes. This is an RPG. You have to collect everything, and we managed to kill it before it could escape, and then harpooned it with the ballista to keep it from drifting away as we moved forward, and we started to rig up some ways on how to pull it back in when Falvin came back downstairs and noticed that there were some footprints from a wizard who had teleported onto the boat that they were trying to hide as one of the rowers, but failed their deception check against Falvin, and he found them out and hauled them up, and we bound and gagged Yanis, as we discovered what her name was, and while the rest of the crew was working on hauling up and harvesting the sea serpent, and Magus was looking at the wreckage to see if anybody else came up out of it, after he decided to, with Shade's guidance, to not just completely destroy all of them with his magic while they were helpless. One of the ship ran aground against a giant hand of Kentamane that rose up from the sea, and it wasn't doing anything. But while everyone was distracted, another hand came out of the ocean and plucked the wizard up from her bonds and just held it aloft 20 feet in the air. We realized after some initial investigation, it started talking as an emissary of Kentamane, who said, "I am assuming direct control." And
Basically.
and spoke to us and said, like, these guys profaned my name by assuming the moniker of the Black Hands of Kentamane in order to perpetrate violence against the native races of Thalia, and I don't like that, so I am claiming them. And we were deferential enough to earn a boon from him, which we negotiated to be that he will carry the Ultros to the Old Wood and hold it there until Demetria has a chance to reunite with her sister, in exchange for us protecting Thalia, swearing an oath to protect Thalia, the continent, and the entity, and to act as agents of vengeance against those who would profane the names of Thalia or Kentamane the way the Black Hands had. And I believe that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah. And just like real quick, on that interchange with Kentamane, because I was listening back to it, and I wanted to give you guys a optional retcon. That being, keep it the way it is, with the oath, the transaction, just the way you described, or have it be more just an open-ended agreement where he does this thing, but Kentamane just sort of takes more interest in you and is a little more scrutinous of your actions, and as long as they are still following those tenets of, like, hunting down those who would deface the land and Thalia, basically you would have somewhat of a, not really a patron, but sort of how you gained blessings from Mitros by doing things that Mitros cares about. It's like you would sort of be getting that with Kentamane. If you do things that Kentamane does not like, you might you might have something negative happen to you. If you do things that Kentamane likes, you might have something positive, but it wouldn't be an oath-bound relationship, if that makes sense.
Magus would be all on board for not having an oath.
I mean,
I think that makes sense.
that works for me. The only question I'd have is, how much do we really know about Kentamane?
Oh, Magus knows everything.
Oh, okay. Well then, all right, we're good.
Yeah, I'd say,
I mean,
yeah, with Magus's religious knowledge, you guys would know everything that is available in the player's guide as far as Kentamane. So the legends, the whatnot.
Basically, like, Magus would feel that, like, he already wants to investigate more into Thelian magic and increase his relationship in that regard. And so, like, he doesn't see dealings with Kentamane necessarily in a bad light because he's probably wanting to stay on Thelia's good side anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, my main thinking is that I felt like listening back, I was like, oh shit, I feel like I was forcing you guys into another oath. You know, that's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Fight Kentamane? And just, but like, I still
in a ship
want
we can't control.
Right, exactly. So like, I still wanted it to be transactional, and it's like, okay, he is giving you, he's loaning you his assistance basically, with the assumption that you will do right by him in the future. So if that seems more, I guess, more in line with what you guys would prefer to do, I would be totally good retconning that, if that's where you guys want to go.
I mean, sounds good to me.
Well,
Yeah.
because I was thinking about your party and kind of your sort of internal reputation you're building as like people that try to change the world without relying so much on oaths, and like you've had great success with that in the past, and just trying to bring hope back to people, that just promises and like your word can be enough. So anyway, I feel that is the spirit of the party, and so I just wanted to make sure that there was an option to maintain that spirit. So if you guys are good with that, then everything is continuing as it was. It's just, this is not an oath per se. So cool. Great recap. Take your inspiration.
I might need it.
Yeah. And yeah, so I also, when I was describing the 270-degree turn back away from the route to Mitros, I also was like, wait, where exactly are they in the ocean? Because I think I forgot about the Aresian Peninsula when we were doing that last couple sessions. I thought that the Deadfalls was like really close to just open ocean, and it really isn't. So, anyway, magic underwater tunnel. You guys ended up. I'm actually gonna take you over to the world
tunnel.
map. Yeah, like
Secret tunnel through Aresia.
Yeah.
Secret tunnel.
So okay, so we're back at the world map. Oh, hold on. Theagenes doesn't have a token on this map. Now he does. So, you guys were over here at the Deadfalls, and then you hopped in the Ultros, and I kind of was like in my head, oh, you're over here, but no. You basically dumped out like right in this sort of bay area. And so basically you were traveling like out through the Cerulean Gulf on your way to Mitros, and let's say you were like here, and so instead of just continuing due west, you would probably the most direct route, because Demetria's lair is kind of in the Old Wood, is to go up the Archelon. Is the Archelon River? Yeah, up the Archelon River here, and that would take you as close as possible to her, the Mossy Temple. I should probably put a token out here for the ship. That would probably be Nope, that's too big, and I don't know what that is. We'll do that later.
It's 37 miles long.
Right. Here, I'm gonna draw a quick. Just gonna draw a quick Ultros. And then there we go.
Perfection.
There she is. Beautiful.
I can just picture the Goblet of Malta
Yeah,
standing
that's
at the
exactly what
bow.
I was gonna say. You put the Goblet of Malta on there.
I'll do that later. We have things to do.
Yeah, later.
I'm gonna make this a little smaller just because it's like, okay, that's better. Okay, so you guys were about the better part of a day along the 3-day ship journey to Mitros from the Deadfalls. I guess you're really more like here. So well, hold on. Would 270 degrees actually work in that case? 'Cause-
I mean, I think it would just be like 45 from our current trajectory to take us into the inlet.
Right, I know. I was just trying to see if I could redeem myself from last session.
No, it
No.
can't be done.
Not
He
happening.
could go the long way, just like.
Okay. So,
Well, I guess it depends.
Pentamine, he does what he wants.
sure does. So you
I
start
mean,
to
270
yeah.
counterclockwise would get close.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I knew I was a genius secretly. So you start to kind of head towards some like barrier islands just south of the Old Woods, moving more away from the open ocean of the Cerulean Gulf. So the weather gets a little more unpredictable, but your travel is solid as a rock, as it were, because you are just being hoisted through the ocean by these two mighty hands of Kentamane, of which he has many extra spares. Two is nothing for him. What's kind of going on? We'll say this is like about a day to get to the mouth of the river. What's kind of going on while you guys are traveling?
I want to first check in with Kyra and the Ultros Ultria Sprout.
Yeah, I think you can just call her
because-
Ultria by now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have eyes on Estor last I knew, so I just want to make sure he didn't do anything down here.
Sure. Okay, I'll bring us back to the Ultras map for now. So you find Kyra, and we'll say she is I don't know what she'd be doing. I guess she's just talking to Ultria, like teaching her tricks, and I think Kyra is like trying to show her how to juggle and like being a little maybe too optimistic about what a brand new like life form is capable of doing.
She's only been awakened half a day.
And then Megas, you show up, and Kyra says, "Oh, hi." And you can see that she like seems like pretty physically like good. Like she's it's been maybe a couple hours since the serpent. She seems like she's full of life. She has that sort of like spark behind her eyes, and yeah, she says, "You know, I started to write about what you were doing in the room over there while the battle was raging overhead, and then I got a few sentences in, and I just thought, this is kind of boring, really. Your somatic components were just twiddling your thumbs, and that's not really interesting reading. But I kid. You did amazing, but work."
I'm glad to see that you're back to your normal self.
Whew, you have no idea what a quality sacrifice can do for a girl.
Speaking of that, there is something I wanted to talk to you about.
About sacrifice?
Yes. So, I'm a little ashamed to admit it, but during the battle, like you said, like a quality sacrifice greatly improved your constitution, and I knew you needed something like that, and I had the pirate ships at my mercy. And the thought did occur to me of making them all a sacrifice to you. Not that I would do it,
Oh,
but the thought did occur.
I understand, and the thought is very sweet, Magus. Seriously, very sweet. Please never ever do that. Beasts and monsters, fine. Wine, great. Love a good 2 tons of wine without the hangover. Adrift sailors? No, thank you. Nope.
Would that have been detrimental to you?
It probably would have killed me in one hit. No,
You're
she doesn't.
joking.
She doesn't say that. No, that's a callback to that classic dungeon master joke. Okay, I'm sorry. She says, I never really thought about it. I mean, usually if someone's making a sacrifice to you, it's because they have half a clue what you like, you know? And generally sacrificing adrift, helpless people that's a pretty messed up, well, and she says that and then kind of like pauses, realizing that that's sort of what you were about to do. Doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but just says like, that's not really first on people's list, so I don't know that it's really been done.
So the reason I'm asking this is because if human sacrifice, it would have made, like, even just made you nauseous to receive, that is something that anyone, anywhere in Thelia, without any special background or ability, could do to affect you. Could there be something similar against the Titans?
Her eyes have just kind of been slowly narrowing as you speak, and then you say that last bit, and they kind of pop back open. Well, I don't know. It's like the world's worst prank call? I kind of love
Exactly.
it. I kind of love it, but what would have that effect? Because, Lutheria probably loves human sacrifice, but
mean,
she
I think
also
she-
loves wine.
She
and-
desires children. Yeah. I have no idea. But that was like that is the whole reason why I followed this train of thought.
There's got to be something just perverse and repulsive enough for even a human sacrificing insane megalomaniac to turn her nose up at.
Or even maybe not a thing that is sacrificed itself. So, occasionally in Magic you'll find instances where the deeper mechanisms can be altered, kind of like how I don't always have to use magic components, or instead of components I can use a focus, things like that.
I think, as Theo might say, you cheat, but yes, go ahead.
Oh yes.
Yes,
Why
please
not?
continue. Fully endorsed.
But would it be all right if, once we have a bit more downtime, I ask you a few questions to get your perspective on what it is like to receive a sacrifice, and sacrifices from your point of view? Maybe we can figure something out. If we could just, maybe not even harm the Titans, but just distract or nauseate them at a critical moment. I don't think that's an opportunity to miss out on.
I think it's worth following up, and like you said, it's something that anyone really without training could accomplish. So, I think the only tough thing about it is it requires some pretty personal knowledge, and I don't know that that's something we're going to obtain without, like, getting pretty uncomfortably close or even speaking with the Titans themselves.
You know, there might be some leads in that regard too.
Well, be careful. I don't want you putting too much of a target on your head.
Might be a bit late for that.
I think I'll try, and I are kind of stuffed down here. Can we? Is it stopped raining?
Has it?
I love when I ask a question that only I know the answer to. Yeah, it's stopped raining.
Yes, it has.
That would be funny if I said no. Anyway, cool. Yeah, and Ultraya seems kind of like she kind of puts her hands together, sort of like clapping very quietly at the prospect of going out into the sun. And Kyra kind of walks her up the stairs and finds the rest of you up on deck. What are the rest of you doing?
I mean, I was just assuming that we were finishing up with the sea serpent and trying to clean the deck somewhat.
Yeah.
From the last combat, there was blood splatter literally over the front quarter of the ship.
Yeah, it was a mess, and the kind of like swell of water that Kentamane caused as he was moving through the ocean, that did wash most of it off, but you know, it will take some you know attentiveness and care, TLC. I can't think of words right now, and my feelings wheel is gone.
Swab the deck.
Swab the deck. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's some swabs available.
Hot swabs.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
We'll be at this for a while.
So y'all are
We'll
hacking
just say
it
that's
up.
what Falbin's doing the rest of this session.
Basically, yeah, I love that. He's, you know, just harvesting teeth and blubber and blood and scales and all that. Theagenes, you did get that pearl of power, right? Okay, cool. So that basically lets you, I think, with an action regain like a spell slot or like some type of spell slot. Which is nice for warlocks because they only have one level of spell slot, so it's like you just kind of like a little. It's like a not an action surge, but a what's the other fighter thing where they get
Second wind.
second wind? Yeah, or like arcane recovery, but you can use it in combat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah.
Do I have to attune to that?
You do, but I think you don't have any items attuned currently, so you have 3 slots available, so like that's shouldn't be a big deal.
And probably do some weaving, maybe take some load.
Okay, yeah. In this amount of time, you would definitely have opportunity to do all of those things. What does your weaving do again?
That's sort of how I commune with the fates.
Right. They send you gifts that you knit or that you weave onto a piece of cloth.
Did you say gifts? Like
Yeah.
like my weaves are magically moving? That would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, or you have to do like 5 or 6 and then you flip through them. I guess that's just a flip book. I'm calling a flip book a GIF. Like it's just, there's a physical.
That was the OG gift.
Wow, I'm sorry, old people.
I mean, hey, it's a fantasy realm. They don't have computers. That's as good as we're gonna get.
That's true. That's true. The closest we have is gifts. Anyway, so what are the fates telling you today?
Oh. Well, I don't know. I have to think about that. I thought you would
They
tell.
sent one of those.
Oh
They
yeah.
sent one of those clothespin reindeer, and
Wait, the what? I don't know what that
it
is.
was like You're talking about they sent gifts, so they sent like one of those little like reindeer Christmas ornaments you made out of two clothespins glued together.
Right.
Which is really confusing for Theagenes because he doesn't know what Christmas is.
That's really sad. Yeah, I'm looking at your sheet. I can't remember where your like portent role features are, what they're listed under. I don't know.
Oh, like knowing the future?
Yeah.
I don't exactly. I can get borrowed knowledge from it, and I can and I get just sort of my little battle. Oh, what is it? Well, the thing I did to the sea serpent, the roll, that I get to.
What is that? Oh, Fate's. Is it Fate's foretelling? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you would have basically accomplished a short rest after this. So if you want to go ahead and roll that d20 and get that roll, you don't have to do it publicly, but if you want, you can.
I should.
That's pretty cool.
What you really want is highs or lows.
Right. Yeah. 20. Okay.
There you go.
I have a pocket 20 to be used on anything. That's fun.
I think
That's pretty cool.
I think what you get is you're weaving, and I think this and the lotus in imbibement is kind of a paired activity, and like the lotus imbibement, it allows you to sort of clear your mind and be like receptive to this voice that's like basically imperceptible otherwise, and you don't necessarily hear the words or see the images, but your hands recreate what these images are. And so like when you look down at what your hands have created, it's the first time you're seeing it. And so you spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes weaving, and you're not even looking at your hands, and then you finally look down and your eyes clear, and you have weaved yourself like an image of it could be you. It's the detail is not crazy detailed, but it's a somebody in like a soldier's garb, and they are looks like they have fallen down a steep hillside, like in like a rock slide, and they have reached out and grabbed like a lone root that is like one of the only bits of organic matter on this rocky hillside, and you have saved yourself from a pretty dastardly fall. So just like representing this 20, this good luck that you can just sort of have at a moment's notice. So yeah, something like that. I'm not going to go into that much detail every time, but I feel like that's maybe sort of the vibe of how those roles occur.
Okay, yeah, I can come up with them in the future based on the role. I think that's fun.
Yeah, and it's like that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna fall down a cliff and grab onto a thing. It just means, hey, something bad might happen to you, but you will have good luck and fortune in that situation.
It's a metaphor, okay?
It's a metaphor, exactly. You get it. You're a literary son of a bitch. Okay. So Kyra and Ultraya walk up the steps, and she kind of waits until the smoke clears a little bit, but she walks over, and they're just sort of walking hand in hand. Mega's sort of tagging along too. They pass by the sea serpent that is like a construction zone. Falvin is inside, pokes his head out of. And yeah, so they walk over, and Shade, what are you kind of thinking as Ultraya walks in your direction?
He would definitely walk up to her. Because you said she's walking,
Yep, yep. Not like
not
fast.
riding in.
Kind of toddler style. Waddling.
He would walk up to her and drop to one knee, and just kind of look right in her eyes and say, "Well, hello, little one. Now that we can meet properly for the first time. I don't know if you recognize me, but I am Shade. And I have been trying to take care of you so far. It is good to see you awake."
She says, "Hey, how you doing? I'm gonna try it."
You spent too much time around Uncle Timid.
No, she says, so you stick out a hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. She is actually gonna climb up in your hand, because you got big old mitts, bud, and so she just kind of like mantles up onto your open paw and sort of sits down like crisscross applesauce, and looks at you with this just big old smile and just says, "Hello, Poppa."
Oh, you do recognize me. He would give her like a very light, like little hug. I'm sorry. Things were a little different at first. I think you noticed the bad man floating around here. Yeah, he was kind of in my head for a bit.
Someone was borrowing your trunk.
Yes, it's a good way to say it.
He is gone now, I can tell.
Yes, thankfully. So, what should I call you? Would you like to go by Ultria? Or did you have another name?
I think... She kind of looks down at herself. Maybe Bjark? I'm sorry. That's kind of a non-serious suggestion. I was like, it was like 20 minutes before the session, and I'm like, oh god, what do I have her sound like? And then I'm like, Bark, Bjork, Bjark.
Yep.
And so she's Bjork.
How, we can think about it. You don't have to decide right away.
She says, well, Trya is my name, but it feels like it was here before me.
It was. It's a long story, and rather sad and painful. But you get to start fresh. You can continue with the previous legacy, or you can begin a new one. The choice is going to be yours. But we have a little bit of time to work through it.
Okay. This is a big ship.
Yes, it is. Do you want to see how it is steered?
Yes, I would like that.
And Shade would take her around, pointing out bits of the ship, and like, this is how the mast works. This is what the oars are doing. Like, take her down to like the ship's wheel and show her. It turns the rudder. Doesn't do anything right now because Kentamane, which I guess is your great grandfather, is he's steering the ship.
So it is a circle that does nothing.
Only right now.
There is a time,
And he would just,
but not
what?
now.
yes.
In time, my circle friend.
You just be pointing out bits of the ship, and
Cool.
just explaining how they work. Get her a good start on that mariner training.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Theo, what's Theo and Rue doing?
We're over, ankle deep in this sea serpent over here, harvesting. Just kind of jumping right in there, trying to see exactly what we can get from this.
I think Rue
reveling
maybe.
in how amazing fish are, and how maybe we should expand our repertoire to the ocean rather than the sky.
I think Rue says something like, Theo, you wish you'd made me a fish instead of a bird?
Absolutely not.
Well, that's the right answer.
You're perfect just the way you are.
You think I'd toss these wings? Not on your life. You think they're gonna think I'm Estor just because I talk like this? You know, I talked like this before he came along.
Don't worry, it was cool. It was cool before him, and it will be cool long after.
Ah, I appreciate it.
That just means that you have to go harder on the accent, so that people really understand that not all
Right,
are
yeah.
bad. Yeah, so
You
bring
know-
honor to it.
You know, I've been thinking these wings, they're kind of outgrowing these wings. Hey, do you think, Theo, they're
Yeah.
getting a bit small for me?
Yeah,
I
we're
feel,
gonna work
I
on
feel
it.
like my pinion storm is just not really doing much. Like it,
Yeah, it pinged off of him quite a bit on
I'm
the
doing
last
like
one.
1 damage.
Yeah, I know.
What's up with that?
It was like you tickling them with a feather at times.
It's embarrassing. You think we could go see Volcan sometime and he could? I mean, I know you
Oh, yeah.
can.
No,
but
we're totally gonna hit up Big V. We're gonna hit up Big V, and we're gonna get you some new wings. We're gonna
He's a-
get you a Transformer edition where you can turn into a fish and go underwater.
you know, I can already go underwater. I just,
You're gonna be an all-terrain vehicle. It's gonna be great.
I'm a person first and foremost, but sure.
Yeah. I wish I was an all-terrain vehicle. But just because I'd be an all-terrain vehicle doesn't mean I'm not a person.
Does feel good to be better than you in some way.
Oh, so many ways.
Although I guess I am you in a way.
Yeah. Could you come over here and help me open up this spleet?
That's my middle name. Actually, I don't have a last name, so I guess it's my last name. Rue opens up spleens, and he continues to help you dissect the sea serpent.
Rue o spleen.
Rue. Okay, so another. I guess, like, unless you guys have something in particular, another couple hours will go by.
Yep.
You do.
I got things.
Okay. All right.
I mean, the one
Your
thing
cell
that
phone's been
Shade
charging.
after he'd kind of done the circuit of the ship with Sprout, he would try and check with Magus and I assume Kyra at this point. Be
Mhm.
like, so now that Falbin's basically taken everything he possibly can off that serpent that we can shove into Theo's bag of holding, what are we gonna do with the rest?
I feel that given the situation, a sacrifice to Kentamane would not be inappropriate. As long as there's a way I could do it that would burn the ship.
Yeah, and I mean, I think actually I don't know if we've said this before, but the ritual of sacrifice kind of turns the fire into something that is like almost self-aware, where it consumes the sacrificial item, and yeah, is very intentional about it. So you know, with how wet the deck is, you would be fine doing the sacrifice right out on the deck.
Okay. While I'm working on that, something that I think we should follow up on that we just didn't get a chance to, is what insight does Shade have now in what Estor wants from his time in possession?
Oh,
And like, 'cause-
yeah.
yeah, information was kind of interrupted there. What all you got for us?
So, glancing around to see if Astor is anywhere in sight. Assume we'd make sure he's not.
There's somebody. There's a ghost wearing like a baseball cap and like a hoodie over standing in the corner, just flipping through a
Alright,
newspaper.
we're gonna shuffle about another 15 feet away from that. That guy looks sketchy. I don't know where Astor is. But that guy's sketchy.
Squidward's house is leaning down over you, staring at you. Sorry, a little SpongeBob joke. Anyway, go ahead. You're clear of Estor.
All right. So Estor's goal was to get off of the ship. I assume there's something in Mitros he's looking for, which I can't tell if it was exactly the same blade or not. Just tell me if I'm mixing things up, but I feel like Shade would recognize a sword.
Yep.
But I feel like the sword that King Acastus uses is very similar to the one that Estor used to wield, which is most likely the blade that can kill him.
Unfortunately, I think I have to like step in here, because in that session, which I did go back and listen to, you, the DM, said that we didn't get a good look at it because the rest of us were fighting, and at the time that Acastus drew the sword, Shade was unconscious.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I that wasn't exactly the point I was gonna make, but it is. You are correct. I would say that you don't have enough of an idea of what Acastus's armaments are to make that assumption. It's a good guess, but you're not sure.
I'm gonna actually challenge that slightly.
Ooh, okay.
Because we saw Acastus in court.
Oh, okay.
He was armed. We saw him arrive at the ritual site. He was armed. If it was something that Estor had, I would have seen the pommel, the handle, the scabbard. If any of that's the same, I feel like Shade, being a martial character, would recognize that, even if it's a similitude.
Ocular Pat Down is your middle name. That's a fair. That's.
It's like he wouldn't be able to say for certain because you're right. He didn't see him draw it, but he'd be like, "It's similar."
There's enough on the pommel and the scabbard. You're right. Yeah, that's a totally fair challenge, and I'm not even gonna make you roll for it because, like you said, there were multiple instances where you saw that, and you definitely looked closely.
I was going to say, it's like, you can't say for certain it's the same one, but it's a start.
It is not the same blade.
Cool.
What Acastus wields was notably bronze, and you remember that what Estor had, similar to your blade, is this like otherworldly dark steel. By otherworldly, I don't mean like alien. I just mean like where you guys came
steel.
from.
Yeah. I thought you described Cassus's blade as being dark metal.
Did I say that?
I don't think you ever described it.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
So I was specifically listening for that.
Okay.
Here's my open book to you. If I said it was dark metal, it was an accident.
Cool. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm not trying to deceive you here at all. I promise.
Nope. That's good. That's good.
But yeah, so you're pretty
but
sure
they were similar enough. Well, were they similar enough that Shade could have made that mix up at all?
I think if you.
Because I'm fine with sticking with it and setting us towards the wrong direction.
No,
if it would be similar enough.
I think if you had only looked at it like one time in passing, but the fact that you were around it multiple times for an extended period of time, you got a real good look at Acastus's blade. And it's not matching up with what your memory of Estor's blade was.
Okay, so then, retcon.
You guys are fair as hell. I appreciate it.
Oh God, it's not the blade cast is used, but it's possible that it could be in Mitros. That could be what he was after, but otherwise we don't know. There's something in Mitros he wants, and it involves him getting off the ship with a physical body, which seems to be some form of how he's bound here. I guess as a spirit he can't leave, but if he's in a physical body he can.
I also find it interesting that he couldn't initiate the trip to Mitros. He's been, like, in this boat for however many hundreds of years, but it took someone else coming on board and saying that they wanted to go to Mitros to make it happen.
Make an investigation check. I feel like this is like putting clues together in your mind.
Come on, smart boy. Wow.
Not so smart. That's an 11. Do you want to keep that?
It was low enough that I'm gonna re-roll it.
Okay. It can't get much worse. It can get... Oh my god! It can get a little worse.
Why do you say these things, Daniel?
I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Do you wanna...
Nope, that's where it stands.
Okay. So...
He's like, let me revisit this. Wait, no, never mind.
This is like, you just cannot... It's a plot hole. In Magus's mind, this is a plot hole. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. What was the conundrum that you were trying to pin down? Exactly.
Why Estor couldn't initiate the trip to Mitros? Why
Right.
it had to be someone else coming on board?
It seems totally irrational. It seems like he should have been able to do that, but you have no guesses as to why he would have waited.
Okay.
Maybe it has something to do with him needing a physical body to leave the ship. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't worth going to Mitros if he didn't have a physical body. Who knows? Well, either way, that's what I know of it. And then Shade would describe the sword as best he can. You know, steel, dark metal. Describe any distinguishing features that he could of Estor's blade.
I'll also
So
say...
if we see that blade.
Yeah.
What?
I'll also say, if there's any of those other motivation bullet points that I messaged you, you're free to share those if you like. Because I feel like you would have gotten enough surface level, like, he might not have had full-on conversations about that stuff, but you would have gotten, like, mutterings of those. So...
Yeah. Like, so... Yeah. So I do know that... After he just finished describing the blade, he's like, this is less definite, more kind of impressions. I do know that he was dead set on getting revenge on Lutheria. That's kind of his driving purpose behind a lot of it.
Oh.
I think part, like I said, it's speculative to some degree, but I think part of what he wanted to do involved King Acastus. Maybe possessing him, I don't know. But he wants revenge on Lutheria. He intends to finish the job. I assume that means exterminating the Fae.
I don't think he can do that. And that must eat at him.
Probably. So, the other thing, just vague impression, there's something about that egg that I described down in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about that he didn't want. He's very protective of it. So, once we can get him out of the picture, we should probably take a look at that.
Oh, I was planning on anyway. 'Cause I think I know what it is.
Is an egg.
I have some suspicions. It's a giant ostrich.
It's a giant ostrich, you're right.
Well, If you want to go into battle riding a giant ostrich, that's your choice. Before I start the ritual, I wonder if Theagenes, if you might want to visit our last Thane and relieve him of this mortal coil. Or if maybe there's other information we could gain from him before he goes. But
Should probably try and ask if he knows anything about steering the ship.
yeah, if you guys want to look into that.
I released all the things that I know of that wanted to go earlier on.
You haven't asked the one in the bow of the ship, the one who had the animated armor.
Yeah.
Maybe not explicitly, but I did go around at one point when Daniel asked us what we wanted to do with our free time, and that's sort of what I did. But
Okay, so is he already gone?
do we need him to not be gone?
I honestly
Like I
can't
said,
remember if you did send him off.
Okay.
There wasn't an explicit send off. There was, I think Theagenes said he was going to go around and ask, and that went straight into the helmsman.
I see. Okay, so I don't think we got around to Skathon.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So if he's still around, then Shade at least would want to try and get any more information we can about the operation of the ship. But if he's gone, then so be it. That that ship sailed, as it were.
For now, I'm in my room contemplating my new handkerchief. So,
right then, and I guess while Diogenes is doing that, then Shade would probably want to talk to Skathon.
And I start the sacrifice.
Okay. Yeah, 1 second. I am, I seem to have lost my Skathon notes. Oh, no, I remember where they are. Hold on. I remember. In fact, the place that they were is the place that I left them, which is yeah, cool. So Shade, you go towards the captain's quarters, and do you just walk in?
I mean, if the door's not closed, otherwise he'd knock.
That's very nice of you.
A little polite.
You knock, and you hear like a sound of like a pencil scribbling, and your knock interrupts the pencil scribbling, and you hear a pencil set down on the desk. And I can't remember what this guy sounds like. Come in.
Shade would open the door and step inside.
You notice he doesn't have like a sudden look of relief. He looks like he was relieved before you came in the room. He says, "Estor doesn't knock." And although we fought, I'd much rather see you.
Yes, I got that impression from each of you Thanes, which, in case you are not aware, I believe you are the last. The other two have been relieved. Don't know exactly what it is, but they've passed on permanently.
He kind of smiles to himself and he says, I felt something. That is good to hear.
I believe my companion that helped that happen would offer the same to you, if you desire it. However, I was hoping to ask if there's anything else you can tell us about the Ultros before you do, assuming you would take him up on that offer.
Would you be willing to speak somewhere else, not in the captain's quarters?
Of course.
Have you been up to the crow's nest?
I have not.
Would you like to?
Certainly.
It's quite breathtaking. And he says, "You look out." I'm not supposed to leave, but I think Estor's gambit with you killing us traitors or whatever is kind of off now, so I'm not as worried about it. Oh, it'd be good to stretch my legs. And so he kind of creeps out the door ahead of you. He leaves the piece of paper on the desk. Do you look at it?
I mean, if it's obvious, sure.
Yeah, you look down and it seems like he's drawing like little like action scenes of a figure wielding what looks like the sword and armor that attacked you in this room. Just amazing scenes of heroism and yeah, it seems like he's recalling good days.
He's writing a comic book.
Yeah, basically. One slash man. So anyway, so he leads you up to top deck, and he kind of keeps a wide berth from everybody. He just, I don't know, he just doesn't want to cause a stir. But he waves you up towards the mast, and there's a ladder, like a rope ladder, that runs all the way up the mast to a crow's nest near the top, and it's about I think it's over 100 feet high. It's way up there, and he climbs and climbs and climbs. He could go ethereal, but you seem to get a sensation that he is like, I don't know, he's just enjoying the act of climbing. Just, who knows, this might be the last time he ever does it. And you follow him up to the crow's nest, and you're above the sail on this little platform here. So you have just this completely unobstructed view. You can see this just miles and miles of these barrier islands that you're now sort of starting to navigate through. Actually, it's kind of terrifying because looking down, you can see a lot further into the depths of the water than if you were just right above it. And beneath the ship is just blackness. It is just like Vanta black. Just a mountain of the darkest material you can imagine. Beneath your ship, it forms a horizon of about like 300 feet on either side of the ship, as these hands are the only part that protrude from the water, as the form of Kentamane is below you.
It's not just like two Kentamane arms sticking up. There's like a big chunk of Kentamane below us.
You are getting the Uber XL, my friend. So you realize this, and I think Skathon is also realizing this, and he says, "Holy hells, you hitched a ride with him?"
No, I mean, It was that or go to Mitros like Estor wanted.
No, don't get me
Figured.
wrong. I'm I am shocked. I'm not judging. This is the last thing I think Estor would have done, if that makes sense.
Oh yes, I can imagine. You know, Skathon, I don't know that I ever met you in my previous life, but I knew Astor as well. Do you know the name Lucas Pelagon?
It's funny. Normally I'd be a little offended, but with all that's happened, we've met a few times actually.
Oh,
It's okay. It's okay.
my bad.
I'm a ghost now. I look a little different. I'm his first mate. So any of the functions that he attended where we were in a naval capacity, I was there. So
So then, yes, I probably did meet you. I'm just gonna blame the memory loss on this. I'm gonna assume that I would have recognized you otherwise. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
it's okay. I did try to possess you. So I feel like we're pretty square. Sorry about that again.
No hard feelings.
Thank you. I think I just assumed there was no light at the end of this tunnel. And I don't know. It's starting to feel like there is as he kind of looks out, and you're just in this mid-afternoon, bright, warm sky. He says, "I really wish I could feel that." But I don't know. What does it feel like to you?
Shader just kind of closes his eyes and turns his face up to the sun. He's like, in some ways it feels glorious. It's pleasant weather now that we're out of the rain. Sun above, but it feels like purpose and determination. We're on mission. We're on campaign. Remember that feeling? Not the slog later in the war, but the beginning. And everything was fresh and important. Feels like that again.
Comes with a little bit of naivete, right? Where it's you're gung ho, but you don't really know what you're getting yourself into.
Yep.
I've done bad things, Lucas. I stood by while a lot of bad things happened. But I did bad things too. You don't get to be Estor's first mate without breaking a few eggs. I'm gonna help you any way I can. And refresh my memory with what you were
Basically,
asking.
is there anything else you can tell us about the Ultros, about how it's operated, and steered, navigated, all those type of things? We know it's still bound to Luco, or bound to Estor somehow, and we won't be able to do much until we can rid it of that. But once we do, with you and the other Thanes gone, and in theory Estor out of the picture in one way or another, we're not going to be able to know how to do much of it other than sail it like a normal ship, which we surmise that it is anything but a normal ship.
That is very right. But at the same time, there's a potential in this ship that I feel like has never been tapped. This ship is magic through and there's probably as much magic in its grains as there is blood, and there's a lot of blood. What you spilled today, that's, you know, a drop in the bucket. I think was the only one who was alive long enough that night before I bled out that I heard the oath that he made with her.
This shade would like turn his full attention. Like, you heard it?
Yep. And I like to write. I'm a journaler. I would never dare write this down. This is something I've lost a lot of my humanity over these years, but I've given up things so that I wouldn't forget this, just in case. And let's see. I have it. I'm just trying to pull it up. Okay. Here's what he said, word for word. I swear upon my life's blood that I shall captain the Ultros with honor. Even should we sail into the maw of the nether sea, my fate shall be bound to hers. And I remember Lutherius said something back to him. I don't remember exactly, but she said something that the oath would be considered broken if the Oathbound ever took action to harm the Ultros. Now, Estor loves this ship. Now, I say that. He doesn't love it. He covets it. He owns it. But to lose it is his greatest fear, and he takes great care of it, not because he loves it, but because he wishes to see his work persist. This monument to his bloodlust and conquest. Just... So he would never lay a hand on it. But maybe you could trick him into doing it. Now, I don't know how you would do that, but I do know, and I think you know this too, is that his mind is ever on revenge. And his judgment may be weakened if it is in pursuit of that revenge. So I hope your tactician mind can do something with that, because that's all I got.
Thank you. That was honestly a bit more than I was expecting. I applaud you for holding on to that piece of knowledge, even at the cost it claimed on you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I still deserve Tartarus, and I'm probably gonna get it. So, but it's rewarding in a way to finally pay for one's deeds. even if it hurts.
Yeah.
I think I'll stay up here. And whenever your friend is ready, and if he has the constitution for this sort of climb,
Very well. With one kind of long, lingering gaze around at the horizon, she would look at him and say, I'll leave you to a moment of peace. And start climbing back down.
the five be with you, Lucas. There's a level of
And with
like
you.
panic right before he says that, because it's like he'd get drawn and quartered for saying something like that. But yeah, neat. I'm glad you remembered that, because I completely forgot about him.
Yeah, it seems kind of poignant.
Yeah.
Needed.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, so you take a long last look around and make your way back down the mast.
Then, I guess in whatever intervening time and stuff is going on, Shade would go and find Diogenes and tell him that Skathon is ready to take him up on his offer if he's willing to climb to the top of the crow's nest.
Thank you for telling me. I'll be up there shortly.
Is Theagenes afraid of heights?
Nope.
No? Okay, cool. All right. You gotta be afraid of something.
I do.
No, you don't. You don't have to.
I think I'm
Ghosts. He's afraid of
pointlessness.
ghosts.
I think mostly I'm afraid of the pointlessness of my existence.
Okay. That's. Whew, that's
So typical.
that's a heavy phobia. Yeah. Okay.
I like to think that Theogenes is afraid of ghosts. That's why he's trying to put them all to rest.
Oh, I gotta get these ghosts out of here, man.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Oh God, that's really good. Your bells do the Ghostbusters theme. No. Okay. Yeah, I think I don't really can't think of anything else like on deck going on. Actually, one more thing. Estor kind of walks up the stairs from the lower deck, just kind of strolling. And he walks past like Theo and Falbin, like doing the last bit of, chopping up of the sea serpent. And he says, "Oh yeah, sea serpent. Yeah, you ever eaten one of those? Fantastic. I can teach you a recipe."
Imagine Falbin would silently stare at him and then go back to
Coyly.
butchering.
Coyly. Very, very coyly, yes.
Very, very coyly.
You know that knife well. It seems like that blade is close to you.
It does the trick.
Well, if you're hungry for the best roast sea serpent you ever had in your life, I'd say you know where to find me, but You just call me. What's everyone else doing? We've got Kiki over here playing Big Sister. That's cute. That's very cute. Oh, so you're walking now. You're talking now. Nothing to say. Well, trees do too much talking anyway. Fine by me. Nobody has anything to say to old Lestor taking my ship for a ride.
How aware am I of this in the middle of making the sacrifice?
I mean, he's standing right near you, talking.
And how much of, like, do I have to, like, maintain concentration on what I'm doing?
No, I'll say, like, it's like you're trying to focus and he's, like, annoying you. Like, you can't not hear what he's saying.
But I could hold a conversation with him while maintaining the sacrifice?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Estor, I think we need to have a talk.
Finally.
About Lutheria.
Do an insight check.
Oh boy. Hey.
18.
Nice.
He goes, I don't like her. No, he loses his cool for like a split second. It's obvious he's not perturbed. He is annoyed at you all for, you know, this this plan that you've concocted and taking control of the ship so bluntly, I guess. And I think he's expecting to kind of go toe to toe with you, taking jabs on that he didn't expect you to bring her into the conversation. And he says, Lady of Nightmares, what do you know about her?
I know that she's the only person I hate more than you.
You don't say. And he's gonna sit down, like not like right next to you, but he pulls up a crate, you know, and just pops a squat, and says, "You hate Luther. I mean, you know, there's a lot of mortals who hate her. You know, she does terrible things. She's worth hating, but it seems personal to you."
Oh yeah, she made it personal. See, in our actions, you know, we've taken steps against her in various ways, and she decided, well, you know, I can't be put to sleep, right? Magic
Elves
like
and
that
all,
doesn't
yeah.
work on me. Yeah. She did it anyway.
Tricky bitch.
And she didn't threaten me, no. She threatened my family.
Downright evil.
So, as soon as I have the power, I am going to rip her from her throne and cast her into one of her own cells.
He kind of like, he looks back and forth a little in disbelief, and he's like, then what? Why are we not working together, Magus? Can't you see we've got the same goals in mind? I can feel that hatred.
We have the same enemies. I wouldn't necessarily consider that the same goals.
Oh,
Keep
come
in
on.
mind the second person I hate most in the world.
All right, and why do you hate me so much? What did I ever do to you?
Oh, that's more on principle, I think.
Ah, principle. Yeah, easy to talk about principle when you're a young man just, just having fun at college, out on your first adventure of all time, just thinking you're the biggest man in the world. You've been nowhere. Have you ever been farther than, Eresia? You've seen what lies on the edges of this world.
Can't say that I have.
Then
But I think
you go
But I
ahead.
think we're getting distracted.
You're right. I'd love to work with you. I don't want to drive a further wedge between us.
So,
How can I help you help me?
So, I understand that you want to leave this ship.
Not so much that I want to leave it, it's just I can't really do what I want to do while I'm here.
And here's what I'm concerned about. So far as I know, the only people who understand how to take control of this ship are you and her.
Sounds about right.
So I want to make sure that when you leave, she doesn't move in.
I don't think she'd care about the Ultras. It's just a little old boat.
It's what you say it is. Like, you took this to meet the Titans.
I did, and
I think she might care about...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think she might care about this boat more than she cares about me. At this stage. And she's taken the initiative to speak to me personally twice.
So you want me to teach you how to keep Lutheria from taking control of this ship?
I think so. I think that fits both of our interests.
I think the best way to do that is to craft a new oath together. One where you captain this ship on my... you become the captain, and I become the admiral. You see?
You don't really know me, do you?
Well, you don't really know naval lingo.
Commodore.
Yeah.
Commodore!
Yeah.
Who said that? Was that Theo? Oh, no, that was you. I like the way you think, lad. Commodore. Commodore Estor. No, that kind of doubles up at the end there. Commodore Estor. People would make silly songs.
Commodestor?
Commodore. Hey, you there. Don't take my jokes away from me. We'll stick with Admiral. First Admiral. But the cool thing about an Admiral is that they can go ashore.
Nah, no oaths. They're not really my thing.
You don't understand this ship. She don't work without an oath.
And why is that?
Because it's not a living being. It requires magic to bend it to your will. You can't reason with it. I
Says
should
to the guy
know.
that's trying to break the code on magic.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, like I realize what I'm saying is like
I know.
it's an alley to your oop. So yeah, no, yeah, I should know. I hacked it down. I put it together.
And that gave you control?
The words did.
So I would have to swear an oath to the boat to get control of it?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of plot hole. I'm realizing that the oath that I quoted earlier, like that's the timing of that is not, it doesn't make sense. Because that would have been
I
the
was
oath.
wondering if there were two separate oaths or just one.
I'm sorry, I'm running on 2 brain cells today. I think Lutheria asked him what the oath was. That's how we'll save that.
Okay.
And then she commented about, oh well, what if you were to damage what if you were to harm the ultras? Would it break? And he said, oh yeah, but I would never. So we'll go with that.
Cool.
Okay, where were we?
Yeah, I was asking, so I would have to swear an oath to the boat.
Yeah, unless you can find a way to make it speak.
Crazier things have happened.
Well, it's been 500 years, and nothing of that sort has ever happened. But she works just fine if you swear to captain her.
But you're not going to tell me specifically how to do that, are you? Unless I swear to you.
Oh no, the way it'll work is I will initiate a new oath together with you that will override the previous oath. Like, just seamless, Magus.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that.
What's that?
Because I know that she tricked you. And I know...
Have you ever seen
you
her
are
naked, Magus? Come on.
Oh. That's part of why she's threatened by family.
A story for another time. Right now. No. We business first.
Business. See, here's the thing. I understand that you could never accomplish your goal of eradicating all of the Geigans and Maenads and other such races of this land in just one lifetime.
99.99%. You remember that.
But not the last. Yeah. But I also know that she wouldn't let you continue to do that if you swore an oath to her.
And who told you that?
I'm a smart boy.
I feel like that drink of water you took was like a power move drink of water.
I just want to point out at this point that Falbin would have finished with like the butchering since the ritual's now ongoing.
Oh,
I would have
perfect.
just been standing in the background listening to this back and forth, sharpening and cleaning and sharpening his knife.
All right, father of the girl I dated 600 years ago. All right, yeah. So, I, in a moment of weakness, gave up the last inch of the marathon.
She is a bitch, isn't she?
With a capital. Every letter's a capital.
So here's the thing. If I swore under you, then I wouldn't be able to kill him.
Now that's a different oath. See, the oath that stopped me from my finishing my job, my work, was to grant me eternal life. Now, the oath we would be redoing is commanding of the ship.
And you're sure that the oath about your eternal life does not apply to your subordinates?
Pretty darn. You weren't there for the ritual. I could slit your throat while you sleep, or pretend to sleep.
I'd rather not.
Okay. Besides, if I did it, it would be in him, pointing to Falbin. Oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna possess you. So a lot of talk, but what I'm hearing is, you want to captain this ship. I would like to leave this ship. I need a body to do that. You need an oath to captain this ship. I know the oath. I can create a new oath with you as captain.
No, slightly different. You want to leave this ship. I want to make sure that while you're gone, this ship doesn't fall under Lutheria. I don't need to captain it. I just want to make sure that if she comes around, or her servants come around, she doesn't do something sneaky that I don't know to protect against.
Oaths are
That
not.
would give her control.
Oaths are not in her power to command. Oaths are just part of how this world works. Even she can't defy an oath.
Oh, I know, but as I've seen enough with the Oath of Peace, she knows how to twist the rules.
Well, in that case, I think she'd do whatever she wanted anyway. But she doesn't really show her face here much. And I can't recall when she's been physically here. Besides, that
so-
night.
Player talk. What I am getting at is I'm trying to get a safeguard so that if when we go to talk to Demetria, like I will be able to know that Demetria isn't slipping something into whatever she's doing to give us control of the Otros. That would be a problem.
Well, you don't know what her plan would be.
Right.
So,
Because I don't trust anybody in this scenario.
sure, yeah. I mean, roll an insight check. No, you rolled an 18 just a minute ago. I'll keep
Yeah.
that. So you get sincerity from him. You feel like he would genuinely turn over the ship to you, if you would help him get off the ship and make him admiral.
Yeah, well, that ain't happening.
Sure, yeah, but like you don't sense
Yes.
any betrayal there. You also feel like with your knowledge of religion and arcana that there's no way that like Lutheria's interference would like grandfather in with this new oath.
Okay.
It would be a separate, clean, new oath. So really the only like danger would be you're making an oath with Estor, but that you're looking at right in the face.
Yeah. Alright. Well then. Seems we might be at cross purposes then. Just understand, if the time comes where you feel that if not by an oath and not trusting me, but you can trust my hatred of the Titans, let me know.
I do trust you. One last thing. When you eventually fail and Lutheria causes you to laugh yourself to death or dance yourself till your feet turn to nubs, and then I kill her, I'll make sure to give you a tomb and put your name on it.
I just smile.
You get the sense that he knows that you defaced his tomb.
Yep.
Cool.
I own it.
Okay. He slaps his thighs, says, "Welp," and where's that Skathon?
Didn't know that he originally came from the Midwest.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You guys came from a far off land called Idaho. Yeah. Yeah. So he kind of continues just wandering around the ship. It seems like he isn't aware that Skathon is up on the crow's nest.
Well, let's hope Theagenes skedaddles up there and lets him go before that store starts
Yeah.
intervening.
Yep.
I'm there.
You're there? Okay, cool. Yeah, so he sees you and he says, "Hey, I'm Skathon. Did we meet earlier?
We did.
We were fighting. I'm sorry about that.
I don't hold grudges about fights.
Well, I appreciate that. I would hate for my executioner to judge me too harshly. You're here to send me off?
Yes, but I don't think of myself as an executioner. I'm more of a guide.
A guide.
Where would you like to go?
Where would I like to go? Oh, I'd like to go to Margie's farm. But that's not there anymore. I've seen it. Second choice, obviously, is Elysium, but that's everybody's, well, first choice, generally. Yeah, Elysium. Yeah. Can you do that? Do you know anybody in Elysium?
I don't, but I can send you on your first few steps there.
I wanted this to happen for a while, but now that it's here, you may be the last person I ever talked to. What do you want? What do you want to do with your life? What can I imagine you doing someday?
No one can really tell what they'll end up doing, even someone who's bonded to the fates as I am. And truth be told, I think of myself as having died some time ago. That's possibly what makes me good at this.
Because you know the way.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I think he faces away from you. He just kind of like leans his arms on the railing, looking out over the prow of the ship as you head, closer inland. And it's like there's a detachment from. I mean, because him and the crew used to rage through these forests that start to loom over the horizon, just killing everything they could find. And it's like were you here 500 years ago, you might see like obvious patches in the forests or like places where huge swaths had been burned down, but now it's all verdant and green and lush, and I think he takes solace in the fact that at least some of what he helped destroy has returned, and he awaits your ritual. So
Okay. I start reciting his ancestors, starting with his father and backwards to the beginning of time.
it was George Foreman, George Foreman, George Foreman, George Foreman. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
George Foreman got the time machine and repeatedly. Okay, we're not gonna get into this.
Yeah, no, it's probably out of the three, it's the most peaceful because like with I think with Metrons, like Estor was literally like in the next room and it was like tension because he wasn't sure whether or not it was going to go through, but you know, Skathon, it's incredibly serene, and you eventually see him pass into nothing. His essence pouring out like water from a bowl, as you said before, and now you're up there alone.
Gets me every time. Yeah. Okay. Well, I take a moment to enjoy the view, and then I head on down.
Cool. A bug gets in your mouth.
God damn it!
No, I'm just kidding. You gotta play your pipes if you're up in a windy spot like that. Keep the bugs away.
Yeah.
You start to climb down. Make a dexterity save. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, you make it down, and Skathon is deleted from the map. Bye. And the
But in a nice.
in a nice way. In a nice way. Look at that. Cool. So, is there anything else you guys are doing? Because otherwise, we'll like skip ahead to the landing.
I will use sending to call ahead.
Okay. Cool.
So,
Ahead
complete.
answers and says, "Hey, I'm ahead. What's up?"
Well,
I'm sorry.
God.
I'm sorry.
So, assuming the sacrifice is complete, I cast sending to Demetria.
Okay.
And
As the sacrifice goes, there is a kind of a groan underneath the ship, and it kind of looks like, you know, in Jurassic Park when the cup of water is sitting in the cup holder and like the T-Rex foot stomps and it kind of the entire like ocean surface in like a 300-foot radius around you does that, kind of just trembles as this sound is coming from under the water. And those of you that have weapons, you can feel you can see a blood red glow kind of slowly emanate from your weapon, shedding a dim light. And then it slowly recedes. And those of you that don't have weapons, I guess like Magus, your armband, which normally does like kind of like a blue arcane sigil glow, does like a red sort of wrathful blood red glow. Theagenes, your bell tolls in just this sort of like really grating, harsh way, and so you all
Nobody pulls my bell with me.
okay, yeah, your bell doesn't toll. Your shield, maybe your shield, like your hex symbol on the shield glows that red color. So you each can call on Kentamane's favor and cast Wrathful Smite. and you can do this a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier, and once that is, we'll say a minimum of 1. And that is that's once those charges are done, they're gone. This is not a permanent ability. But yeah, so yeah, for example, Shade, you have, what is your Constitution modifier, like +4?
Plus 5.
5? Okay, so you can cast Wrathful Smite 5 times. I think Theo can do it twice. And I will say the rules around Wrathful Smite normally are like melee weapon only, but I'm gonna let this apply to ranged weapons or targeted spell casts as well.
Oh, I can't do everyone within a fireball.
Nope, no, you can't. You could do it with you could do it with a firebolt, or I don't think magic missile may
Nope.
Yeah, anything where you have to roll to hit, we'll say.
Yep.
But yeah, so that is your reward for sacrificing the sea serpent to Kentamane. And the sea serpent is deleted from the map. And now Magus calls Demetria.
Yep. And I am going to say, on board the Ultros, en route to Archelon, Estor still remains captain in ghostly form. Could you help rid us of him?
You don't say anything about Ultria?
Not yet.
Okay. She says, "Who is this?"
Oh, she
No,
knows.
I'm just kidding. Seinfeld joke. Who is this? No, so she.
Vandalay Industries.
So I think, if I remember from the episode, is she wanted you to come to her.
Yes.
So I think she will say, there is a lake off of the, again, I'm not bothering with the word count. There's a lake off of this bend of the river. You can dock there. I will have a guide meet you to bring you to my temple.
Do I have any control over where these hands are going?
Yeah, you can lean over the side and be like, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna stop at the UDF. Is that okay? UDF is a gas station. I'm guessing nobody has those in their area. Anyway, yeah. So okay, yeah, we'll say that you're not really talking to Kentamane, but the spirit of the agreement is that he would take you to the destination you pick, and you just hadn't quite picked a destination. So yeah.
I might also, like, if I see Estor again, like, I will mention to him one other thing. While you were in my companion's body, you slept. And I'm guessing the reason you didn't wake up screaming from nightmares is because she didn't know that you were in a physical form yet.
Why are you bringing this up?
It is not a threat, just something to consider. if you plan on leaving this ship.
Well, then I hope I meet myself an elf.
She's already put me to sleep twice. That's not going to protect you.
He's joking.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. He takes your threat and walks away with it.
And then, Shade, do we want to talk with Ultraya about what's about to happen?
Yes, we're going to need to.
I mean, I assume you're best at that. I may want to like touch the mast and try and commune with the ship a bit.
Okay. Yeah. You go over to touch the mast, and Ultraya kind of walks up to you, Shade, and kind of grabs your hand, like reaches up and grabs your hand. Talk to me about what, Poppa?
Talk to you about the sad story I mentioned earlier. With that, he'd walk up to Magus and the mast and say, "This tall mast, the central part of the ship, came from your previous body." Like, is Estor around right now?
No, he's gone downstairs.
Okay.
We'll say that for the purposes of the ship, I'm not gonna have him secretly listening on you unless you're
Okay.
like near a door, or like if you're in an area that is totally separate from another part of the ship, and you can feel free to speak.
Okay. Cool. There's like, this mast came from your previous body, if you would.
Yeah, I would.
Dad jokes.
I was.
They told me they would come.
I was tall.
You were very tall. You and your sister, maybe at this point you could consider her your aunt, Demetria.
It is a pretty
Well,
name.
True. Were two majestic trees of the forest. Estor, the bad man, killed you by sawing both your human-shaped body and your tree body, sawing through them both to cut down that tree and shape it into this mast. We have met Demetria, and we are trying to bring this ship back to her so she can be reunited in some form with her sister's remains. We don't know what that will mean or what that will look like. But it could get very uncomfortable for you.
You've said a lot to her. But she looks back up at you with sort of a resolute look. You can see she's like, her kind of chin is like quivering as she's like really forcing this strong, brave face. And she says, "I'm not afraid."
Good girl. And we will be with you the whole time.
That is good, because I have 9 HP, Papa.
You're a very self-aware young girl.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. So you prime her a little bit for the upcoming stuff, but she takes it well. I mean, and like after you speak to her, she moves towards the mast that Magus you're sort of communing with, and she sort of mimicking you, reaches her hand out and also touches the weathered yet well preserved wood, and it's like a little bit of like the moss that's on her hand kind of slowly grows off of like her thumb and like blends into the wood of the mast. She closes her eyes and she says, "There are scars. I feel scars. There's pain. Age-old pain, but faded and dull. I see myself, but different, like when, I don't know. It's me, but it isn't. I'm not sad. I should be sad. I'm not mad. I feel like this is a lesson. It is a warning. I am still here. And I grow. I'm growing. What do you feel, Magus?
You're doing it again.
What?
You're asking a question that only you know the answer to.
Oh, sure. I was just gonna let you play with it. I mean, or like, what? Or are you searching for something in particular?
Not really. So, like, I would imagine, like, based on what you described when Shade brushed up against the mast, that it's like the flashes of the event when the old Tri was cut down and destroyed, and the pain from that. And so, like, I brace myself for that, but then also like try and feed back into that the images of the old Trias Sprout awakening, the joy that the whole of City of Astoria felt when we thwarted the sacrifice of Honora, like the parties at the Sour Vintage, when I was able to fly for the first time, and the elation that I felt from that. So I'm trying to like meet this pain and feed back into it ideas of rebirth and coming through it stronger.
I love that. Yeah. And we got a little clip reel of the campaign there in that 2 sentences. That's amazing. So like when you first lay your hand on the mast, you do get that same sort of like just shock of violent flashes, and then you start to actually do a wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh.
So,
I am going to use my other inspiration
Okay.
for today on that one.
Okay, cool.
Because especially if the young Ultria is coming up for this, I want this to be that's a little bit better.
That's a 9. It's okay. This is not like mechanically like dangerous to you. I'm just you're trying to give this sort of feedback loop. You're trying to impress upon, or you're trying to overwrite these violent images with triumph and life and joy, and you're struggling. You feel like you're starting to doubt like your own motives. You're starting to be like, wait, is what we did even important? What's going to happen 10 years from now? And you're starting to lose hope. And then but then you see this grove. You see a young tree, the same tree that this tree was cut down and formed of the Ultros, maybe like 30, 40 years old rather than like hundreds or thousands. And I'm not a biologist. I don't know if this is possible, but like when a young or like medium-aged tree, like a sapling, starts to grow alongside it, and then they merge, becoming like one large tree together. You get that image, and then your eyes open and you look down, and there is Ultraya with her hand on the mast, and her woody palm nearly blending with the wood of the mast, and she looks up and meets your gaze, and you feel better.
I will smile, and I will say, through all of the pain and all the frustration, remember, magic is awesome.
Magic is awesome.
Yes.
Would you like a berry?
I would.
She gives you good berry.
Yay! I get 1 hit point.
You get 1 hit point. Cool. Yeah, and Magus Lampros Promeus heals 1 damage. Amazing. Yeah, I think that's probably a. Oh, okay, we'll do the landing. So another few hours go by, and it's we'll say it's starting to get like late afternoon, like 4 o'clock. And
Can I take a short rest?
Oh yeah. I mean, short rests are 10 minutes, so no problem. Oh, were you like wounded?
Oh yeah, I was at 36 hit points.
Oh, from getting beat up from the hitting the
Yep.
the hand, yeah. So the wide open ocean and all these islands start to close in, and then you see the long shoreline on the southern border of the old woods. The trees loom over a rocky cliffside. There really aren't any beaches. It's mostly just rocky outcropping. There are like places you could land a small boat, but nothing large. But the river Archelon itself is quite large. There's a lot of shipping that actually goes through here, and actually somebody roll a d6.
I got it.
A 5. Okay, so in the course of like making your approach to the mouth of this river, you pass 5 small boats, or you pass within eyesight of 5 small boats. Do you guys stay visible on the deck, or what do you do?
I mean, Shade would stay visible on the deck. I mean, he's not. It's like, what are we gonna do? We're on a ship being carried by the hands of Kentamane.
Yeah.
We're already famous.
Actually, like, I'm gonna lean into this.
Okay. I'm just giving you guys the
And-
agency. You know, if you want to go incognito, you can. But
No. I am actually going to get
Mama's
up on
on
the
the ocean.
prow, and I am going to cast a major image
God,
that has like, in like projecting up in front of us, like all of us in the party, like doing like the Captain Morgan pose and pointing forward as we're going by.
you've got like a holographic billboard of your
Yep.
party.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, so
Big damn heroes.
this is a decision. You are making news. A couple boats like
It depends what credible sources actually see us, or it's just going to be rumors floating around the countryside.
that's true, and I think because of the circumstance of like Kentamane's form moving into the shore, like no boats can get close. Like everybody's just veering way around you. So no, I don't think anybody is close enough to see you in the flesh. But the image is noticed for sure. And I think as Kentamane gets closer to the shore, you would assume, although you're not actually, is Theagenes still up at the top of the crow's nest?
No, I climbed down. Remember,
Oh,
you made
you
me
did.
swallow a bug and do a duck.
I didn't I was joking. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't actually swallow a bug. And anyway, but I think Rue, like I'm assuming Rue occasionally, flies around and stuff, and Rue would probably report back that like whatever Kentamane's form is underneath the ship is getting smaller. That's the best explanation he can give. Because he shouldn't be, because the water is getting much more shallow. You're about to enter the mouth of a river. There's no way whatever was, moving you around before would be able to fit here, but it is. So the two hands remain. Those are the most visible, prominent features, and they continue to shuttle you into the mouth of the Archelon. The river's very wide, and so there is room for the occasional ship to pass. But I say like those five are the only ones that you come across until about, we'll say like 8 p.m. You reach this bend that Demetria described in detail, and you see the inlet to the lake. I don't know if rivers work that way, but this one does. So yeah, and you take a sharp turn into the inlet, and the hand at the front continues to pull the ship in towards a moderately sized like kind of beach area, and the hand at the stern of the ship stays behind and just kind of like spreads its fingers out over the inlet to the lake. As you approach, you see four very large forms, each with 6 arms, and their arms crossed, and they wait for you to land. And I think that's where we'll end our session. So, and those guys you see on the shore are the Monstars from Space Jam. So they're missing their point guard, but it's almost the full starting lineup.
Nice.
No, you get the feeling that they are Gaigans. Yeah. So, cool. GG, a lot of RP, but some good RP. I enjoyed that. It's very good RP actually. Give yourself some credit. What was people's favorite bit? And also, what would you name it?
Shade showing his child the ship.
Oh, Lovely. So good.
I think Hello Poppa would be the should be the name of the
Hello,
the episode.
Papa. That's good. That's really good.
That's a good one.
Or they told me these dad jokes would happen at some point. Make it more concise, but
um,
Oh.
dad joke inevitability.
yes.
Oh man. Mm. Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing next time? We'll go to the Mossy Temple again. What's okay? So who is it? Who's staying aboard, if anybody? Right? Because like you guys haven't talked about that, but I feel like that's probably a big topic of,
Yeah.
I had intended, like, I thought that, like, she would be coming to us, to the shore or whatever.
Since we can't really take the ship to the temple.
She's gonna have to come here eventually.
Right. Yeah, I think I think adhering to like what her specifics were originally, I think the spirit of that is like she wants to know that you're serious, and she expects a little, I don't know, she still feels like she has some upper hand in this, and so she wants to be catered to.
So basically she wants us to put ourselves kind of within her power before she'll step out of her like sanctuary.
That's fair. Yeah, totally. Although there is still a basically an oath of peace in effect. So anybody
she and her subordinates cannot harm us.
Yep. Doesn't mean that you guys won't run into some trouble in the woods from unaffiliated parties.
Oh no, the Gigans accidentally wander us into a owlbear den. Oh no, whoops. We got turned around heading back to the temple.
Oh darn. Are you guys okay? Oh no. Oh, there's blood everywhere. What do we do? No, it's a possibility. No, but it is a power move.
Owl bear fight.
It is a power move, and I mean, I think it is wise that you didn't reveal the fact that you have the awakened Ultraia already.
Yep.
Because I think that will probably be a decent like undercut to her feeling of superiority here. But there's a lot of interesting motivations kind of like blending together and like floating around. I like it.
And does Estor recognize where we are now?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. So that is the thing, like going back to it, like is anybody staying on the ship?
I mean, if Kentamane's the one holding the ship here, I don't really see a lot of reason that we need to, but
I just mean, like, are you going to leave Estor unsupervised?
Well, if there's not any physical people for him to jump into, I don't see what that's any different from leaving him unsupervised otherwise.
True, but I just want to make it clear that it is in the realm of possibility that, I mean,
he could nab one of the Gigans as we're heading out.
They'd have to get, like on the ship.
Oh, that's true. They'd have to get on the ship.
some random like hunter or somebody just wandering through the woods could be like, oh, whoa, a big old ship.
One of those 5 boats that saw us with the giant hologram.
Yeah, like, hey,
what was that? Follow it,
guys. The Ultras is So like, just want to like just make you aware that it is possible that if left unsupervised, something could happen. won't necessarily, but it could.
So we'll split the party. Shade, Falbin, and I'll try a Sprout. We'll stay, and everybody else go. Right? Sound good?
Yeah.
Break. What's go wrong? Where's that owlbear den?
I think Falbin should go alone with the Geigans, and everybody else stay here.
Yeah. Actually, that sounds perfect. Yes.
Yeah. What? I mean, he got ripped apart by one Geigan. You know.
What's for?
What's for? Yeah. He's a lot stronger now. Let's be honest. You guys all are. I think at the time, a fight on one Geigan would have been really, really difficult, but you guys could take one Geigan. So that's why I have
pretty
4.
sure we take one.
You don't want us taking one guy.
You know, I know that Demetria knows that you're getting stronger, and she has good relations with the Geigans I have. So cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Our power move is that we're just going to kill the escort.
you well, aren't you under an oath of peace with them too?
We we aren't bound to not attack them. It's just that if we do, they are capable of acting in self-defense. But we are under no such obligation.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing you didn't make that original deal with Kentamane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for kind of putting your foot down on that, because it truly was. I just did not really fathom how far that went in reality and practice. So I was listening back to that, and I was like, oh, Daniel, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that's stop it.
I didn't say it because I didn't want it to sound like I was trying to criticize you too harshly, but I did think it was hilarious. It was just like, hey, you know that thing Falbin built like his whole character around? Yeah, let's make it illegal.
Yep. And listening back, I was like, that is what I was doing. I did not realize that is what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah,
It was an honest mistake. It's fine.
Appreciate it,
Guys, I gotta run. I'll see you next week.
All right, man. Good to
All
have
right.
you. See ya.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
Oh, and I'll see you in real life soon too.
Well,
You will?
that ominous.
Yeah, in a couple weeks.
Oh, I forgot. Awesome!
Yeah.
Yay, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna head out too, guys. I'll see you next week.
All right, man. Tim, have a good night, man. Thanks for
See
joining.
ya.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, well, stop recording. Oh my god.